Okay, guys, I've got the Criterion DVD wheel up now. This is going to be my second time spinning the wheel. The last time I spun the Blu-Ray wheel, this is the DVD wheel. So all my Criterion DVDs are on here. And when I spin it, now if I get a box set, I'll review at least one of the movies in it. Perhaps not all. I may not have watched all the movies in the box set yet. So there are some box sets on here, like the Zatoichi set. I'm certainly not going to try to watch all those movies, like 20 years worth of movies in order to do the review. But I will certainly watch, well, in that case, some of them. So here we go. This is DVDs now. And whatever it spins, that's what we're going to go with. I'm going to go ahead and grab. Last time I hit the button in the middle, but this time I'm going to grab the wheel, and I can do that and kind of do one of these. I'm going to give it a rip. Oops. Give it a better rip. There we go. And wherever it stops, that's the movie I'll review. Interesting. This will be the Criterion DVD of the Rolling Stones documentary called Gimme Shelter. And that will be coming up in just a moment. All right, guys, let me head on over to the shelving over here. And what I spun on the wheel was the Criterion edition, Gimme Shelter. And I can see it from here. The Rolling Stones, Gimme Shelter, on the Criterion Collection. But let's talk about the Criterion Collection and the Rolling Stones. First of all, this has the distinction of being the first Criterion Collection movie I ever purchased. At the time I bought it, I didn't even know about such a thing as a Criterion Collection. So when I bought it some years back, used, all I knew was it had a lot of special features on it. And you can see some of them. I want to talk about some of these too. Breathtaking new high-definition transfer, the uncensored 30th anniversary version, remastered and restored from the camera original, exclusive Dolby Digital and DTS 5.1 surround sound mixes, never-before-seen performances of the Rolling Stones at Madison Square Garden in '69, including Little Queenie, O Carol, and Prodigal Son, plus backstage outtakes. An audio commentary by directors Albert Maysles and Charlotte Zwerin, and collaborator Stanley Goldstein. Excerpts from the KSAN Radio Altamont's wrap-up, recorded December 7th, 1969, with new introductions by then DJ Stefan Ponick. Altamont Stills Gallery, featuring the work of renowned photographers Bill Owens and Beth Sunflower. And the Rolling Stones Altamont and Gimme Shelter, a 44-page booklet with essays by Jagger's former assistant Georgia Bergman, music writers Michael Lydon and Stanley Booth, ex-Oakland Hells Angels chapter head Sonny Barger, he plays a major role in the film, and film critics Amy Taubin and Godfrey Cheshire. Yeah. Original and re-released theatrical trailers, plus trailers for Maysles Films Classics, Grey Gardens, and Salesman. There you go. I mentioned that before. Filmographies for Maysles Films and Charlotte Zwerin. Restoration demonstration. That's interesting. English subtitles for the deaf and hearing impaired. Optimal image quality RSDL dual layer edition. Well, it was made in 1970. It's 91 minutes long. It's in color. It's stereo. 1.35 to 1 aspect ratio. We already heard about the Dolby Digital and DTS soundtracks, which is a must for something like this. And called the greatest rock film ever made, this landmark documentary follows the Rolling Stones, let me focus this thing, on their notorious 1969 tour, when 300,000 members of the Love Generation collided with a few dozen Hells Angels at San Francisco's Altamont Speedway. Direct cinema pioneers David and Albert Maysles and Charlotte Zwerin immortalized on film the bloody slash that transformed a decade's dreams into disillusionment. They say the 60s ended at Altamont, and you know, in a lot of ways it's probably true. This was a free concert that the Stones were giving at the Altamont Speedway. They wanted to have the Hells Angels there to kind of keep some order, but what happened was anything but orderly, and it ended with a bang, or with a thud. The 60s, the peace and love generation. Woodstock, pulled it off. Altamont did not. Although it was a great concert by the Stones, and you'll see it on here if you purchase it. It did not end well. And I think most people know a death happened at the hands of the Hells Angels. Somebody was messing with one of their bikes, apparently, or something, and so, according to the Hells Angels guys, they got what they deserve. They don't touch our bikes. And, it's just amazing. Why the Stones thought they could have the Hells Angels there who would keep order when they're drinking and partying and everything else was beyond me. But, it's the 60s. People were, I don't know, people were naive or something. Here's the book. It's got a little bit of a thing. I bought this used, by the way. I don't know. I paid like $10 for this thing used years ago. Probably, I don't even know. Let's see how long this has been out. It was 1970, but it was come out in 1991. It came out. I'm going to guess I purchased this. This is a better thing on it. It's 2000. I'm going to guess I purchased it in maybe 2002. Something like that. It's my first Criterion on DVD. Here's the booklet. It's great. I have read this booklet. I have seen this movie many times, including on Criterion. It's a great movie. First of all, it goes from the whole kind of negotiation of even coming to Altamont. It shows their manager, who's kind of, in my opinion, kind of a slime ball. But here's some of the chapters here. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. Well done, Sonny. That's the Hells Angels dude. A lot of songs on here. Look at all these. Yeah. It's just a wonderful. I'm not reading all these, but I read them to myself. But see some of the songs on here. They're just cool stuff. Here's the group. When I said the group, I didn't mean the Stones. Obviously, I meant the Maisels brothers. And so I bought this used, but Jagger came out in a cape and a red, white, and blue hat, looking like a combination of some superhero and Uncle Sam. So the film was them kind of behind the scenes, as well as, during the concert as well. So it was, like I say, it was negotiations and everything else, and then actually coming to Altamont. There's a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, there you go. Great stuff. I don't know if they have the set list listed here. I don't remember. I think that what I showed you before, and if you paused it and looked at it, showed you pretty much what was on here song-wise. Classic Stones. Great concert, with the exception of the death, of course. An interesting-looking disc. The old tin can look to there with taped on, Give Me Shelter. It's about right. So, what do I think of the film? Well, I thought it was great. I'd seen Give Me Shelter, I guess on television or parts of it. There's language in here that probably wouldn't have been able to be on television back in the day. But, just a great behind-the-scenes documentary showing the Stones, talking about whether they should go to Altamont, talking about having not only talking about having the Hells Angels be their security, but then in the aftermath, which is just as important, it's the Stones watching the video from Altamont, talking about the death of this guy, and about the whole Hells Angels thing, and about what they were thinking on stage, and everything else. It's just, in my opinion, one of the best rock documentaries ever done. If you like the Rolling Stones, if you're interested to hear more about how somebody could have died at a rock concert right in front of the, 10 feet from Mick Jagger, and how the show went on after, yeah, the show didn't end there. I don't know that the Stones knew he was dead. That's the thing. They knew there was something going on, but they didn't know somebody died. And maybe that's the. And then you hear some of that also. They were learning about it. Well, they learned about it obviously after the show, but watching it was kind of piecing it together for them, and that's an interesting part of the documentary too. The Maisel brothers they do a heck of a job getting this kind of stuff down. I'm a big fan of them and everything they've done for Criterion Collection, including both Grey Gardens, Salesman, as I mentioned, one of my favorite Criterions, certainly my favorite Criterion documentary, right up there with Gimme Shelter. The two of those are wonderful, and there's nothing wrong with Grey Gardens either. That's a wonderful insight into a real quirky world. But all the stuff that the Maisels have done over the years, I've been interested in. And certainly you can look at Mick Jagger's face here, and you see all the people's faces here from the concert too, from the audience. Kind of cool the way they did that. So let's get into some of the Spy Number 99. Yeah, somewhat appropriate that it ends in double digits, just like it ended the 60s. And the reason is it said it ended the 60s was because this was when I guess reality hit. That was no longer the peace and love of the 60s. Vietnam was full underway here at the end of the 60s. It had already lost the the whole flower power San Francisco movement was kind of stale by this point. Not really stale. I shouldn't say that. It wasn't stale. But people were onto other things. It had gotten the innocence, if there was an innocence in the 60s. I think the innocence died with JFK on November 22nd, 1963. But for sure, it died here at Altamont as well. It certainly, as I said, closed the book on the 60s with a thud and a gunshot. And I don't think concerts were the same after this. And we've seen that. We've seen, a difference, I guess. It's if you're going to have a security force at a concert now, it's not going to be the Hells Angels, I can tell you that. And I've got nothing against the Hells Angels. In fact, the Hells Angels of today are motorcyclists of today in general. Some of the most generous, charitable people you're ever going to run across. They're the ones who put on, if you're traveling on a weekend, a holiday weekend, they give up their time and in almost every case their money to have coffee at the rest stops in this country anyway, and a little bit of food to kind of keep you going so that you don't have a problem on the highways. I know personally of somebody whose granddaughter lost a foot, sadly, in an accident involving a riding mower. She was playing, and I don't know. But anyway, the Hells Angels group stepped up and really did a great job to raise money. It wasn't just Hells Angels. It was a wide variety. I personally knew some folks who were in the Hells Angels years ago. They were good guys. They just had this reputation. I guess of all the motorcycle gangs that there were, the Hells Angels probably got the most notoriety. And it wouldn't surprise me if much of that was from the concert at Altamont. I think the reputation after this in particular got worse. So, well, that's it, guys. That's Gimme Shelter. Love it. Highly recommend it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I think you can pick this one up fairly reasonably, maybe $15 at a Barnes & Noble sale. It's still in print. And I think they came out on Blu-ray, too. Anyway, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know. Until next time.